I'm the digital manager at Belle. My name's Rose. I'm here with Ed, one of our beloved guest list members, Edward Ashley Photography, who is a renowned photographer in the Northeast. We've featured one of your real weddings this morning, haven't we? So it's Devon and Connor at Hotel Devon.
Pretty good wedding, actually. I mean, it's very cool, very classy, kind of reflected the couple in that way. But I haven't done any weddings there before theirs, actually, so it was really nice to kind of find a new venue. That's one thing I'd say to couples, actually. You know, when you're looking for a photographer, don't be too het up on whether that photographer has done that venue before. You know, if anything, you almost want the opposites. They're more creative.
You know, wedding photographers, they say, oh, I've shot at this venue so many times, so I know it like the back of my hand. But I think from the couple's point of view, yeah, that's great because you're comfortable there. I think on a wedding day, kind of having that first eye and kind of going in there with no preconceptions,
exactly.
Sometimes that works a little bit better. And I think you can definitely see that in the album that you've done for Devon and Connor.
Honestly, they were so good with it as well because it was so windy, so windy. So my kind of mantra that I kind of run with the whole day is that it should feel like a wedding day, not a photo shoot. You know, we're there to photograph the day. We're not there to orchestrate the day or to change anything that happens. So that being said, they did want some photos of the two of them. So the way that we did that, we set up a couple of sort of shots here and there after dark around the venue. They're on the dance floor. We sort of tapped them on the shoulder, said, right, have you got 5-10 minutes? And we just whipped them around. One of them went to the quayside, just put them in the car, drove us straight down to the quayside, got a quick shot, and within like 3 songs they were back on the dance floor. We managed to get such a range of shots for them.
Having a good idea of what the kind of order of play of the day will be. Is that something that you discuss with the couple ahead of?
Absolutely. So I mean, whenever I meet couples at wedding fairs, make sure you get along with your photographer, and that is super important. Because if you don't get on with them, it'll come across in your photos. You'll look uncomfortable. You know, you won't look like you're enjoying the day, and you will be enjoying the day. You just won't be enjoying the photo of it. Just make sure
what kind of thing do you do? So you just mentioned there with Devon with the wind in her hair, okay? But the whole Instagram world of filters and made to be looking perfect all the time. Are you experiencing that with modern couples? I know it's quite a broad question there and quite a sensitive question to ask, but are you experiencing a little bit of a shift in the way that couples want to be seen in their wedding images? Are they more fussy?
I think it depends on the couple, to be honest with you. My rule is, and I always say this to couples, if it's something temporary, I'll take it out. So, you know, if you have like a spot on the end of your nose or something like that, I'll go through every photo and I'll take it out. But if you've got a scar on your cheek, I'm not going to take that scar out of your photos, because who am I to say that you should look a certain way? You know, and that's my style of photography. It's very naturalistic. Like I say, it should feel like a wedding day, not a photo shoot. It's very heavily documentary based. So you get what was there, you know, you get what you see. And I think that's great because my couples get that, and that's what they want from me.
I think obviously with the whole digitized world that we live in now, it's unusual to meet your supplier face to face. Well, it was last year. I mean, we're getting back to normality now, but still digital processes are still in place. There's a lot of Zoom calls that happen.
For me, wedding fairs are good because I'll always say to a couple, never ever book a photographer if you haven't met them. The reason wedding fairs work so well for me is it's that human connection. You know, a couple can see you're there. You know, I am the business. I'm the one that's going to be there on the day. And if there's that connection there, great. You know, that there's something for them to think about. You know, maybe we'll book this guy. But if there's no connection, fair enough. You know, it's got to work both ways. And I think wedding fairs are particularly good for that.
All the bridesmaids are so excited. The bride's getting her hair and makeup done. Everyone, the fizz is flowing. With that, has there been any disasters, any kind of last minute calamities that you can remember from one of your weddings?
I've had 2 or 3 occasions, actually, 3 I think occasions where dresses have split, either bridesmaids dresses or a bride's dress. And now as a result of that, I have in my camera bag a pair of scissors, a sewing kit, some ribbon, and it's come in handy.
He's a jack of all trades, eh?
I mean, I don't necessarily do anything with it. I'll just sort of hand it over to someone. But it has come in handy way more times than you expect.
Mary Poppins with everything in that kit. Pricing. Now, in a post-COVID, getting to a post-COVID world, the way that couples now are shopping for the suppliers is completely flipped, and people's approach and behavioural changes to finances wavered a little bit. And I think there's a lot of justifying that photographers have to do, justify why they're charging this and the amount of work that goes into the craft. And what's your take on that?
I think before COVID, it was more sort of, you know, what price range are we looking at? Right, let's find photographers that fit that. Whereas now it's perhaps a little bit more the other way. You know, let's find a style that we really like. Right now, let's look into the pricing and let's see which one of those works in terms of pricing. It's interesting you mention the amount of work that goes into it. I would say for me, on a wedding day, that's probably 5%, maybe 7-10% at most of my overall work that I do as a wedding photographer. When you look behind the scenes, really the wedding day itself is actually the smallest part of all the things that I do to make the business work. And it's the most fun part. It's the reason that I do it. And it's what makes it all worth it. The editing for each wedding takes a good few days. And if you're in the summer, I can be shooting 4 or 5 weddings a week sometimes if it's really, really busy and it's midsummer. And that backlog of editing adds up very, very quickly. And so it can then be a few weeks before you get to a wedding that you shot, because you might have some back-to-back sometimes.
Okay. So do you have a standard kind of turnaround time that you give to couples?
Yeah, so I usually try and get them back within about a month to 6 weeks, which is pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I'll always say to couples, if I'm going to be a bit delayed, if there's something going on where I can't get it back that quickly, I'll let you know. A lot that goes into marketing as well, because the thing with wedding photography is couples only come to you once. So, it's not like you can market to a client base and then they keep coming back to you over and over again, like say a hairdresser or something like that. Once that wedding is over, couples might come back to me for an album, but then that's it. I don't then get them again for another wedding. So there's a lot of marketing that goes on as well.
If it doesn't go badly.
If it do, yeah.
So you could do any type of photography. What is it about a wedding that you love?
Yeah, it's a really good question, that actually. A wedding day is the best day in someone's life. Everyone's put loads of effort into kind of turning up and looking their best and wanting to have a good time. No one goes to a wedding wanting to not enjoy it. Everyone's so excited to be there. You get to photograph a couple at a really intimate kind of stage of their life, and it's a privilege, really. It's a full privilege to do that, and the emotion's fantastic. I mean, we had some after COVID, and after COVID people hadn't seen each other for months and months, and they weren't allowed to hug each other, that sort of thing. And so all these weddings we did the first few weeks after lockdown restrictions, they were amazing, because we got these heightened emotions, and everybody was it was like normal weddings but on steroids, that the reactions we got. And my favorite kind of photos of the day are all the candid ones. It's the natural reactions of people hugging each other and greeting each other and kissing each other and stuff. People haven't seen each other for ages. That's what it's about. It's about that human connection, and none of it's staged. It's all just totally natural. It's a really, actually, as a job, it's great, because you just turn up, it all happens, and you'll just photograph it happening. It's the emotion, and you only get that once, and that's a privilege to capture that moment for someone. Really, it's amazing. And those photos, I hope people will treasure forever. They'll either be on the wall or in an album, and they'll look back at them for decades and decades to come. They'll show their children and their children, and that's amazing. That's what I've done, that someone is showing people. Like that's fantastic for me. It really is.